name is George Nakadin. I'm the manager at the Haven Night Shelter. Our mission and vision is basically that nobody should be living on the streets and everybody should be part of a home. What we do is the method we technically use is we offer a temporary shelter, social work services, reunification services to persons living out on the streets, and who are committed to reintegrate back into the community or society. In this while, I've been at Belleville Shelter as a manager since 2014. What a lovely experience. Doing very well until our pandemic hit us in March. In my view, little adjustments, but business as usual. Adjustments meaning that at Belleville we are a bit unique in the sense of we have a high number of drug addicts. When COVID hit us in March, we still had heroin addicts, which we concentrated a lot on, that needed assistance because heroin actually attacks our physicals. What was nice is we could then network, we could partner with other organizations. We have SBC, we have TB/HIV Care, we had STAN, and we could actually motivate, or they came to the party and joined our network, with the likes of VRCID, MES, which is a very strong partnership, especially at that trying time. What was nice is that we shared information, we networked, so much so that instead of our guys having to go to hospitals, our doctors came here. I think it was the Tuesday night before lockdown started on the Thursday, we had the infection disease experts coming in to share about this pandemic, COVID-19, so that we empowered our clients and that they could understand and be part of the decisions going forward. As we moved through level 5, it was difficult, but business as usual. We had addicts out in quarantine. I think we were servicing around about 25 to 30 addicts on a daily basis with medication, and that was something that was high risk to us, but as an organization I think we stood fast, especially with the network and our partners at our side. When it gets to clients, we instituted games, we even connected up computers so that they did not get bored, and also limit their movement because it was lockdown, level 5. And when we look at intakes, our intakes hasn't really changed. I mean, when we had the space, it was utilized because we couldn't actually turn people away. Thus, we've also, and I mean, when we really look at it, we are also a pipeline to the poor. With the organizations, as I mentioned earlier on, we could initially, for the first month, we technically fed 700 people per meal time in the evenings. And we could empower them, social distancing, wearing masks. Even Paint City was born, which was another partner of ours, Paint City meaning safe space. We could actually get, I think it was just on 100 people off the streets into Paint City. When you really look at this whole thing, looking at it today, hey, one can only say, thank thy Lord. Over this whole period, we had about 12 COVID positive tested clients in our shelter. which we could quarantine within a spacing of 4 hours after being positively tested. Uh, and also another partnership was with the health department. I think within the spacing between March and July, they assisted with 4 tests, and not just screening, physical tests where we actually could get a result. And that made a big difference, in the morale of our clients and our shelter for that matter. When we as we were going through today in January, when we went back to level 3, we still have the infrastructure and a partnership with our local community hospital, where they actually tested our guys and not just screened them, and also assisted us with quarantine. So when you really look at it, yes, it has been a good journey. Also bearing in mind that we were battling, because now the businesses around did not always donate as they would have in the past. But our community came to the party, where they really assisted. And when we really look at organizations, when we really have this Ubuntu, where we're standing together, we actually can conquer any challenge that we face. So yes, where we're sitting today, I could only say thank you, Lord, that He has spared us through this trial time. And when I would actually like also for you to really get a view of ground level with the clients that has come through the shelter with me, and also testify their feeling about how it is.
Good day, my name is Gary Kleinschmidt and I'm a recovering drug addict. Before I came to the shelter, I was lost and bound on drugs for the last 30 years of my life. When I came here, it changed my life actually. From then onwards, the shelter helped me get clean and sent me on courses and drug programs, and then lockdown hit, and at that time I was about almost 6 to 8 months clean, and at that stage of my life I was ready to go work, and then that actually stunned me for about maybe a couple of weeks, because I didn't know where I was standing. All of a sudden I was not be able to go out to look for work, and then I was so depressed because I didn't know where my future was lying, and how long is this going to take. And in that time, the shelter itself managed to keep us busy and to boost our morale. It was something I didn't expect. It was actually a blessing and a curse in the same way at the beginning. The blessing part was it kept me clean. I got stronger spiritually, in the sense of, I got in touch with my higher power. I became more patient, more tolerant on other people. That was the good part. And the bad part at that time was I didn't know it was maybe moving forward in life. At my age now, I thought, I don't have much time. I need to, get a job, get on with my life, because I don't have any outside support. My family has got their own struggles, and me being at my age I am, I wanted to do things on my own, and then the shelter actually showed me that I don't need to. There are people out there that really cares for the homeless, I was living on the streets, sleeping next to the bridge, and what happened, it was like a aha moment, and then it was just amazing, how God worked with this lockdown. I don't take this lockdown as a negative, for me it was more positive, because it helped me grow spiritually, mentally, physically, knowing myself, loving myself more, and the courses that they've given me through the lockdown, and and now coming out of the lockdown and then back into the lockdown, that was a bit nerve-wracking for me, you know. The bad part of the lockdown for me at the time was it restricted me from going out, you know, and being and looking for work, and you know, being inactive. I was always busy and up and down, and you know, in the mixture with people, and that actually held me back to a certain extent, you know, helped me grow as a person, to find patience and serenity, you know. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Hello, my name is Ronaldo Kona. I'm an ex-convict and ex-drug addict. I'm living in Powell at the Haven night shelter. For years, say about 8 years, I've been living on the street. I've been begging, peddling, scratching in bins because of my drug use and support I need to feed it. I go to prison mostly every year because of doing crime. I broke away from my family because of things I did to support my habit. I'm now under a program that I have to live to a better life in the future. COVID has really shown me that there's still hope for me. I'm 36 years old and I've been treated as a 17, 19-year-old person that needs to be trained and learned in the right manner. I'm currently getting something back that I always wanted as a child. Even night shelter and COVID has really showed me that there is something out there for me.
Okay, Hoy.
Good evening, my name is Ronaldo. I'm an ex-convict and ex-drug addict that is currently living in a shelter, the Haven night shelter in Belleville. I've been living on the streets of Belleville for about 8 years and has thrown my life away feeding on drugs and breaking and stealing and being imprisoned almost every year. As I came out a year ago, the 10th of January, not knowing what an epidemic is, not knowing what COVID is, I came back to Belleville, I came back to the streets. So as COVID struck, not knowing what to do, not knowing if going to be picked up or locked up, didn't want to go, I found a place that is helping me, a place that was there when I needed it. I did not have any source. I'm going to make money, I'm going to eat. There was a lady that gave me food, there was people that came, but it wasn't what I needed, it wasn't what I wanted. Before I was admitted to the shelter, I was offered and helped with my medication for the supply of heroin. I came here about 13 days continuously, got a nice meal to eat, but I had to leave. And after the 13th day, George Macadine asked me if I want to ask something of him. I asked him that I would like to get off the street. He left me for 3 more days and I had to make a conscious decision if I want to be on the road or inside the shelter. This was very difficult for me because I was going to suffer of the usage of drugs and detox. I was going to be sick, I was going to want to die. So deciding to come in here and being out, because of COVID, I accepted that I'm an adult, I need to make a conscious decision. But today I can actually be grateful of taking that choice, and I'm here and I'm still working.
I am Geraldine Orley. I'm a recovering addict and I was staying on the street in Peril. At the time of March 1 last year, it was on my birthday where the government came and told us that we have to stay away from the street, we can't walk. And we had to stay in the train line, in the facility there with the trains. So we started making our shacks and we didn't have nothing to eat, we couldn't go around, hustling by the white people, we had nowhere to go. The stuff that we had that we could sell at all times, we couldn't sell because the army came around, they didn't want us to sell anything. But apparently to growth and the VICT, they used to send a truck every morning with bread for us to eat. So time was tough for us and I got very sick. So the VICT was giving bread and food, like in the afternoon for us there by Tegenweg radio station. We used to go there and eat there every afternoon. But that was not enough for us because we used to go to the bins and to the white people knocking on the door and getting stuff, and that kept us alive. So now we didn't have any income and we just had to wait there. I got very sick and I went to the people of the VICT. I told them I'm sick and I can't take this anymore, and I had to get off the street. So they took me they told me that they can phone the hospital, but I said no. They made contact with my daughter, I didn't want to. So what happened was the hospitals also didn't help us. I went to hospital, I just got a little medication, they didn't even test me properly, and I went back. I just had to sleep in my shack and I nearly died. On the Saturday, my daughter came to visit me to see if I'm okay, and she took me to Takeaway Hospital. We came out of the hospital, I came to Bell Shelter. I thought it's only for homeless people and drunken people, and I thought that I'm just going to stay here for a few days and then I'm going to leave. But as Mr. George and the staff and the people around, they introduced me to the program, I can happily say that I'm clean now 5 months. And I'm at the point where I had no behavior. I didn't know how to control myself. I was very violent. I didn't know respect. There was no way of even eating properly. But I've learned a lot in the program. And now, at the time that I'm here, I can say that I have a life. I'm moving forward. I'm more confident. I'm healthy. And personally, Mr. George, as the manager, knows me for more than 20 years. And he has been coming with my daughter on and off, and even before that, trying to get me off the street. But I wouldn't. I think even if it wasn't for COVID, I would have never made the choice to come here. So COVID forced me actually to come here because I had a shelter, a plate of food, a hot shower, and I could get my life back. But what I can say is that the COVID has learned people to recognize each other. COVID has taught people, like I can say, if I can see ants walking, there's a lot of things in ants that I envy, because ants has taught me that people are supposed to be like that. Ants can carry a heavy thing on top of their back, but whenever they meet, they stop and they talk to each other before they move on. Why can't people be like that? I think COVID has taught people to care for each other. COVID has learned people to see the next person, to look around them, and not caring only about themselves. COVID has learned people to share with other people, to look around and see what is really wrong in our country, and people that need help, that they can help other people. And I think COVID has, for me, COVID has become a positive thing, because I was diagnosed with HIV in the hospital, but to me, it's not a death sentence. It's like God has given me a life. He has given me a life to see the perfect of life, to live again, and to be there to help other people.
Once a person decided to, or make the choice to want to be in our shelter and utilize our services, lockdown has actually been positive in that respect, because now, once you're in, you're technically in. And you couldn't really go out because it was locked down anyway. As others were saying to us the other day, being out on the street at that time of lockdown, you would either be arrested or starve even. So, being in the shelter was actually the best option. So what we could do is, especially with the Haven Bellville, very unique is the amount of addicts that we have, and we could work intensively with them on our program, and then it also improved our services, especially in the sense where we had all these partnerships together with the VRC, the STAN, not forgetting our city of Cape Town, that even created more space or increased bed space, you know, with Paint City up the road. I mean, I remember VRSID actually and MES and community members in conjunction with the city actually being able to take off approximately 100 people within a day and 3 hours. So people had to make a choice, and the limited movement actually gave us the opportunity to be able to work intensively on their recovery and their road to reunification and reintegration.
Okay, so just about over here, I was a person that was on the road, homeless, did have nothing, no one to turn to. Because of COVID and the blessing that came with it, I now know that I have a reason and a purpose, and I'm in a safe environment where I can build and take back what I've lost. Thank you.